You are being lied to. Every single time you walk out your front door in the dead of summer, every single time you hear that massive metal box humming in your side yard, and every single time you open that devastating utility bill that eats away at your hard-earned retirement, you are the victim of a calculated multi-generational deception. That air conditioning unit sitting outside your house is not a modern marvel of engineering designed to save you from the heat. It is a monument to a lie. It is a financial parasite engineered by a $300 billion cartel to bleed your fixed income dry. Right now, as you sit in your home, the industry is telling you that the outside air is what is cooking your house alive. They are telling you that the only way to survive the brutal American summer is to keep pouring thousands of dollars into their proprietary machines, their Freon top-offs, their expensive maintenance contracts, and a power grid that is teetering on the edge of collapse. But what if I told you that the enemy isn't the air outside? What if I told you that the real enemy is sitting directly above your head? Your roof is acting as a massive dark solar oven, actively absorbing the sun's radiation, converting it into brutal, suffocating heat, and pumping it straight down into your living room, your kitchen, and the bedroom where you try to sleep at night. And here is the absolute most infuriating, blood-boiling truth that they are terrified you will discover today. There is a simple, unremarkable powder sitting on the bottom shelf of every single Home Depot, Lowe's, and local hardware store in America right now. It costs exactly $7 a bag. And this dirt-cheap, entirely unregulated powder possesses the physical capability to stop that heat transfer permanently. I'm not talking about a minor reduction. I'm not talking about knocking a few dollars off your bill. I am talking about completely, fundamentally, and permanently shutting down the thermal absorption of your home. This $7 powder generates more actual, measurable cooling power than a brand new $15,000 central air conditioning system. It is a solution so devastatingly effective that it has been systematically buried by the mainstream media, silently banned by neighborhood associations across the country, and scrubbed from modern building codes. Why? Because a $300 billion coalition of HVAC manufacturers, commercial paint companies, and roofing conglomerates have spent the last 70 years ensuring you never connect the dots. They know that if the American homeowner, the person who has worked their entire life, paid their taxes, and just wants to enjoy their golden years without being financially squeezed, finds out about this, their entire business model collapses overnight. Mark my words and burn this into your memory right now. They do not hide this $7 powder from you because it doesn't work. They hide it from you because it works entirely too well. Today, we are tearing down the wall of deception. But before I show you the proof, I want to know exactly how much they are bleeding you. Drop your highest summer electric bill in the comments down below right now. Let's expose just how much money is being siphoned out of our neighborhoods every single month. Let us take a step back and look at history, because history holds the undeniable proof that you have been sold a lie. Think back to a time before the massive corporations took over. Think back thousands of years to the ancient Mediterranean, to the shores of Greece, to the Minoan civilization. These people lived under a sun that was just as brutal, just as punishing, and just as relentless as the sun baking Texas, Florida, Arizona, or California today. Yet, they did not have a single power line. They did not have natural gas. They did not have smart thermostats. They certainly did not have a massive train or carrier compressor rattling outside their windows. So how did they survive? How did they build entire thriving societies, raising generations of families in environments that would give a modern American a heat stroke? They didn't use machines. They used profound elemental wisdom. The ancient Greeks, more than 3.5 millennia ago, figured out a biological and physical hack that modern corporations have spent billions trying to make you forget. The grandmothers and builders of the ancient world knew how to take simple crushed limestone, mix it with water from their wells, and create a brilliant, blindingly white coating that they painted over every single surface of their homes. For thousands of years, those iconic, dazzling white villages that you see on postcards from Santorini or Mykonos have stood as impenetrable fortresses against the devastating heat of the sun. It wasn't magic. It wasn't just an architectural aesthetic or a stylistic choice for tourists. It was a highly advanced, mathematically perfect survival technology. These ancient people created a living environment that naturally repelled the sun's energy, keeping the interior of their stone and clay homes incredibly cool, even in the dead of August. They passed this knowledge down from generation to generation. It was a free, open-source technology that belonged to humanity. But somewhere along the line, in the mid-20th century, the men in the tailored suits realized there was no profit in a solution that costs pennies and lasts for years. They realized they couldn't control you, they couldn't bill you monthly, and they couldn't leverage your comfort against your bank account if you knew how to cool your own home with rocks and water. So they orchestrated a massive cultural shift. They convinced us that our homes were just wooden boxes that required complex, expensive, fragile machines to make them habitable. We willingly traded our generational survival knowledge, a perfect, sustainable natural defense system, for a lifetime subscription to the power grid. They stole our heritage, packaged it away, and sold us a $15,000 metal box in its place. I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now and listen to me very carefully. The video you're watching right now is extremely dangerous to the bottom line of some of the most powerful corporate entities on this planet. The HVAC cartel, the global paint conglomerates, and the roofing industry lobbyists have entire floors of corporate lawyers whose sole job is to scour the internet and eradicate content that threatens their revenue streams. They absolutely despise the fact that an independent voice is speaking directly to you, a voting, tax-paying, property-owning American who has the power to cut off their cash flow. I cannot guarantee that this video will be here tomorrow. I cannot guarantee it will be here an hour from now. The algorithm is already suppressing this information because it doesn't serve the corporate advertisers. So I am asking you, with absolute urgency, download this video to your computer right now. Take out a pen and paper and write down exactly what I'm about to tell you. And the second this is over, you must take the link to this video and email it, text it, and share it with your friends, your family, your neighbors, and anyone you know who is tired of being bled dry by utility companies. Do not let them keep us in the dark. Your financial independence depends on what you do in the next few minutes. Now, let us dive into the undeniable physics, because physics does not care about corporate marketing budgets, and the numbers absolutely do not lie. I want to explain exactly how they have been tricking you, starting with what that expensive air conditioner outside your house actually does. Most people are under the illusion that an AC unit generates cold air and pumps it into the house. That is a complete fabrication. Your AC is not a heat stopper. It is merely a heat mover. It is a desperately struggling pump that tries to capture the heat that has already invaded your living space and shove it back out the window. But it is fighting a war it is designed to lose, and it loses before the thermostat ever clicks on. We call this the solar loading trap. Look at the roof over your head. If you are like 99% of Americans, you have a dark asphalt shingle roof. That roof is not a shield, it is a sponge. A standard dark roof absorbs between 85 and 95% of all incoming solar radiation. The moment the sun rises, your roof begins soaking up millions of watts of raw solar energy. That energy converts directly into blistering thermal heat, conducting straight through the shingles, through the wood decking, and into your attic. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the temperature in your attic is easily hitting 140 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. It becomes a roaring furnace suspended right over your ceiling. That massive blanket of 140-degree heat doesn't just sit there. It radiates aggressively downward, bleeding through your insulation, pushing through your drywall, and pressing into your living room, your kitchen, and your bedroom, 24 hours a day, all summer long. Your expensive air conditioner is not fighting the 90-degree air outside. It is fighting the 140-degree oven that you are living directly underneath. Your machine spends 80% of its electricity just trying to bail water out of a sinking boat while the roof pours the ocean right back in. But here is where the $7 powder shatters the entire industry. This powder is known as hydrated lime, scientifically referred to as calcium hydroxide. When you mix the simple white powder with water and apply it to a surface, it initiates a physical phenomenon that is nothing short of miraculous. Initially, it triggers the solar bounce effect. Unlike commercial white paint, which still absorbs up to 20% of the sun's heat, pure calcium hydroxide reflects a staggering 95 to 98% of all incoming shortwave solar radiation. It acts as a perfect thermal mirror, violently rejecting the sun's rays back into the atmosphere before they can ever convert into heat. It shuts down the solar loading trap at the absolute source. But the science goes so much deeper, and this is the part that terrifies the HVAC executives. The powder doesn't just block heat from coming in, it actively throws existing heat out. It utilizes a breathtaking quantum mechanics principle called Radiative Sky Cooling. Your air conditioner has to work exhaustingly hard to push heat out into the hot summer air. It takes massive amounts of electricity to force heat into an environment that is already hot. But calcium hydroxide emits thermal energy at a very specific long-wave infrared frequency. This specific frequency is not absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere. Instead, the heat radiates straight through the atmosphere and shoots directly into the freezing, empty vacuum of deep space. Space sits at roughly 3 degrees above absolute zero. While your AC is struggling to dump heat into 95-degree air, this $7 powder is effortlessly dumping your home's heat into the coldest, most infinite heatsink in the universe, entirely for free, without a single moving part. Do you think I am exaggerating? In 2021, Professor Julien Rouen and a team of brilliant physicists at Purdue University conducted a rigorous, peer-reviewed study to test the absolute limits of this highly reflective technology. What they found caused absolute panic in corporate boardrooms across the country. They proved that a 1,000 square foot roof coated with this ultra-reflective physical mechanism generates 10 kilowatts of continuous, uninterrupted cooling power. Let me put that into perspective for you. The massive, expensive, electricity-guzzling central air conditioner sitting outside your house right now only generates about 3 to 5 kilowatts of cooling power. A layer of powder painted on a roof outperforms a heavily engineered mechanical HVAC system by a factor of 2 to 3. It beats the machine, and it uses 0 watts of electricity to do it. So you must be asking yourself the obvious question. If this is true, if the physics are this undeniable, why isn't every single roof in America painted blindingly white? Welcome to the darkest layer of the conspiracy. This is where the $300 billion industry flexes its muscle. They knew they couldn't outlaw physics, so they changed the rules of the game. They aggressively lobbied and infiltrated the rulebooks of homeowner associations across every state in this country. They ensured that HOA covenants strictly mandate what they call earth tones: dark browns, deep tans, charcoal grays, and black shingles. They legally force you, under threat of fines and foreclosure, to cover your house in the exact colors that mathematically guarantee maximum solar absorption. They disguise it as an aesthetic preference to protect neighborhood property values. That is a bold-faced lie. It is a calculated architectural mandate designed to ensure that your house functions as a thermal battery, trapping heat so efficiently that your air conditioner is forced to run from June through September without ever stopping. You cannot patent ancient Greek limewash. You cannot trademark calcium hydroxide. You cannot invent a monthly subscription model for a bag of dirt-cheap rocks that you buy once and paint on your roof. If every American homeowner treated their house with this $7 powder, AC usage would drop by 60 to 70% overnight. The global HVAC market, pulling in over $130 billion a year, would face catastrophic losses. The energy grid monopolies would lose billions in summer surge pricing. They built an entire financial empire on your ignorance, actively hiding the fact that human beings solved this problem 3 millennia ago. I want to hear from you right now. Does your homeowner association mandate dark, heat-absorbing roof colors? Have you ever been fined for trying to make your home more energy efficient? Sound off in the comments below. We need to document exactly how widespread this scam really is. But you don't have to be their victim anymore. It is time to take your home back. It is time to take your retirement money back. I'm going to tell you exactly how to completely neutralize the thermal threat to your home, and it is so incredibly simple that anyone can do it in a single weekend. The process begins with a quick drive to any local hardware store. Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, it doesn't matter. You're going to walk right past the expensive insulation, past the mechanical cooling gadgets, and head straight to the masonry aisle. You're looking for a heavy paper sack labeled Type S hydrated lime. Look closely at the ingredients. It must say calcium hydroxide. This 50-pound bag is the silver bullet the industry fears, and it will cost you somewhere between $7 and $14. Once you have your powder, you are going to recreate the exact unmodified recipe that Mediterranean builders have used for 40 centuries. You do not need toxic chemicals, and you certainly do not need a degree in chemistry. Simply take a large plastic bucket and mix 1 part of the hydrated lime powder with 2 parts of ordinary tap water. Stir it thoroughly with a stick or a drill attachment until it achieves the consistency of thin, watery paint. You're not making a thick mud or a heavy paste. You want a smooth, milk-like liquid. This is genuine limewash. When your mixture is ready, wait for a dry, clear day to begin the application. Grab a standard thick nap paint roller attached to a long extension pole. Head up to your roof, ensuring it is swept clean of debris first, and simply roll the liquid onto the surface. It goes on slightly translucent, but as it dries, it cures into a blindingly white, rock-hard calcified layer that bonds permanently with the surface. Let that first coat dry completely overnight. The next morning, go back up and roll on a second coat. That is the entire process. No permits, no contractors, no hidden fees. The total cost to treat an average 2,000 square foot American roof is roughly $20 to $30 in materials. Let me tell you what happens next. A homeowner in Texas, absolutely fed up with $500 monthly electric bills, applied this exact ancient formula. Before the treatment, during the peak afternoon sun, he took a thermal thermometer into his attic. It read a blistering 143 degrees. The day after he finished his second coat of limewash, with the outside temperature exactly the same, he went back into the attic. It read 97 degrees. He dropped the temperature of his attic by 46 degrees using 2 bags of powder and an afternoon of light labor. But the real magic happened in the living space. His indoor ambient temperature fell by 10 full degrees without the air conditioner ever kicking into high gear. The system that used to run for 16 hours a day suddenly only ran for 4. He calculated his electricity savings by the end of that single summer, and he had kept over $1,200 in his own pocket. Compare that to the scam the industry offers. A $5,000 to $15,000 upfront installation cost for a new unit, plus $150 to $300 a month in operating costs, plus yearly maintenance. You are looking at the difference between financial slavery and total physical independence. You do not need a technician to save you. You just need a paint roller and the immutable laws of thermodynamics. Tell me in the comments, are you willing to spend one Saturday afternoon and $30 to never pay a $500 AC bill again? Or are you going to let the corporations keep winning? Let me know where you stand. Let me paint a picture of a reality that is creeping closer every single day. A reality that the utility companies are praying you never prepare for. We are watching the American power grid stretch to its absolute breaking point. Every summer, the heat waves get longer, the demand spikes higher, and we hear the same terrifying warnings about rolling blackouts and brownouts. What happens to your family when the grid finally buckles under the pressure? When that massive, expensive air conditioning unit outside becomes nothing more than a useless block of dead metal? If your home is reliant on mechanical cooling to survive a 100-degree week, you are not just a customer, you are a hostage. A dark roof will turn your home into an unlivable oven within hours of a power failure, putting the health and safety of your loved ones at immediate risk. But the ancient Mediterranean builders didn't have a power grid to rely on, and neither does the $7 powder. Hydrated lime is the ultimate off-grid insurance policy. It works when the power is out, it works when the transformers blow, it works when the utility company sends you an automated message saying they don't know when the lights will come back on. Because it operates on the flawless, unbreakable laws of thermodynamics, it never needs a software update, a maintenance check, or a flipped breaker. By treating your roof with this blindingly white sun-rejecting shield, you are doing more than just saving thousands of dollars. You are transforming your home into a passive survival shelter. You are taking back your autonomy. You are ensuring that no matter what happens to the fragile infrastructure around us, the space where your family sleeps will remain safe, cool, and completely under your control. For decades, we have been paying a massive tax on our own lack of knowledge. The CEOs of these massive heating and cooling conglomerates are sitting in sprawling, perfectly climate-controlled mansions. And they bought those mansions using the money that was supposed to be your retirement fund. They are getting filthy rich off the sweat of American homeowners who are forced to decide between paying a crushing utility bill or buying groceries and medication. It is a deeply immoral, rigged game, and it ends the moment you decide to stop playing. We must break down this wall of deception, and the only thing these corporations fear more than losing a customer is losing their monopoly on information. They are terrified of an educated populace. I need you to weaponize this knowledge. Do not keep this a secret. Post this video on your Facebook page right now. Drop it into your neighborhood watch groups. Email it to your children so they don't fall into the same trap when they buy their first home. And most importantly, if you refuse to let these corporate giants dictate your life and drain your wallet, you need to hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications right now. By subscribing, you're telling the algorithm that the truth cannot be censored. You are joining a movement to protect vital, money-saving survival knowledge from being erased by the corporate elite. Stand up, take your power back, protect your hard-earned wealth, and do not let them siphon another dime from your family. Drop a comment below letting me know what state you're watching from and how you plan to take a stand. The truth is out there, and now it's in your hands.